So playing a criminal look like it comes naturally to you. You've got that confident kind of swagger of a slick criminal mastermind. Did you have any dealings with any real life criminals to get into prepare for the role?
I've worked with a bunch of those guys over the years, not for this character, no. I think really it goes past, like, I think one of the things you can't do as an actor is say, I am playing a criminal. I think what he's a dude with a certain skill set. I'm sure he's done other vocations that don't lean to that, but I think he's, through his years and through his ability just to sort of compose himself and compartmentalize the things that he does, he has one of those, I think it's his mind that I wanted to portray in the set. And also he's a guy that doesn't want to wave a finger saying, they all know he's kind of the boss, but like, and from the second part, you'll understand that Damien's reach is way, way, way bigger than people think. He's a modest guy. He doesn't really take kindly to bullies. We set that up immediately at the front end. And then that's it. He walks as he is. And I said I wanted to bring some of me, but I also wanted to make sure that there was a composure and an interior element that didn't seem like cameras were anywhere in his world or anywhere in his thinking. And I think it would just, I look at them always more as a dude and who the man is, not what that results in their lives.
Yeah, definitely. And that obviously that swagger's all you.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think the character I play is so much fucking cooler than I am. But I'm like I'm just a loving hippie, really. But I'm a South London boy, so I like characters that you get a sense that if someone was picking on a girl in a pub, or some guy was just minding his own business and these two dudes who are more stepped in, whether it be Damien or me, I am that guy that would say, hey, you definitely have to deal with me now. And it's not about being bullshit. If nobody's doing anything wrong and nobody's picking on anyone, but I think bringing that person to a role and also knowing whole bloody heartedly you'd step in.
Yeah.
It helps the character. And South East London was a good training ground for that.
Yeah, definitely. You've worked with some pretty iconic names in the industry, and again, you get to work with Val Kilmer here. Obviously, after his health problems, I mean, how is he on set? Is he still pretty badass?
I have to be honest with you, it's the third time I worked with Val. We've become friends, and when he showed up on the golf cart heading towards me, we were in the Palm Desert at that time, or the whole time, but we were in a date farm, a remarkable location, and he gets off the cart, he opens his arms, we must have hugged, without exaggeration, 30 seconds. And he brings light, love, when he deals with any medical things which are brief and quick. He goes aside, he sits on his director's chair, they sit on their chairs, and he brings love, as always. Val brings a bit of mischief, but it's always loving, light, hugs. He's just an amazing. And then he brings performances like, the character he plays completely washed up. He just steps into that zone. But then when he does that, he turns the gun at the end, and it's like there's a rebirth of him. He finds his old self, and I'm like, fuck Val, how bloody Kilmer. So yeah, we're both artists as well. We're both painters. We both love film, and he's an icon in film. So working with him is always a big pleasure for me.
Cool. Okay, Paydirt has that kind of Guy Ritchie tone to it. I mean, being a producer on the film, how much freedom did you have in its tone?
Well, firstly, I think we've got to give credit only really to my producing position enables me to say, like, hey, what about this and what about that? I think this might be cool, whatever. It's an input that's listened to, and nobody's really wearing stars and stripes and ranks and on our shoulders and in the way we do things with Christian, myself, and Mikey. Mikey did a lot of the heavy lifting with producing, as did Jack. But Christian was just ready. Christian Sessman, the director, a good friend of mine. When he and I decided to do this for free, we said, look, let's just put all money on screen. If it does well, great. If not, then we'd have made a fun movie, which we think people need right now. So that was it. I think Christian was just evolved as a director. This is his first outing where he just wanted to do it his way with his swagger. Sure, he's a very collaborative man, and he and I work closely on set every day, but he knew what he wanted this time. It was a fun thing to be a part of and sort of creatively dance around each other. It was really, really a lot of fun.
Okay. And in the film, you have a line saying you're more of a Bond man. Is there any potential conversations maybe taking over the role from Daniel Craig?
Oh my goodness. To be honest with you, in pure, honest and genuine humility, I'm just a guy that drives along at night with the sparkly lights of our relative dashboards on our cars, at times thinking, I don't think Bond always crosses most guys' minds at some point when they're driving a noisy car. It's, you know, I'm just a big fat fan of Bond, so that, and Christian had written that line, and I said to him, I don't want to say that, dude, I'm British, and they'll think. He went, say the fucking line, dude, come on, man. And I went, all right, you got it. So we did it, but and it was true. I grew up with that. Would be that, and the spaghetti westerns would be the two things that have massively, like, you know, Steve McQueen, spaghetti westerns, and Bond. You know, as a tiny kid, you know, great movies.
Okay, I think I must have been the only teenage girl that wasn't a Boss fan in my younger days, and I'm old enough to remember.
Nice to meet you.
But I loved When the Screaming Stops, and it went down a storm with critics and audiences alike. Is there any plans, or would you even contemplate reuniting with your brother to do a follow-up, or maybe even a feature film?
Feature film, not yet, because there's not enough there still needs to be another album or two, and there needs to be evolution to put. Everyone knows the rest of it, you know. It's like, let's put some great, interesting, whether it be through this time, the next 10 years or so. And then, yeah, definitely. I think it would be a 40-plus year rock and roll story. At that point, it's worth a film, I think. But right now, I don't think it's the time. What we are going to do is we're going to make a documentary behind the scenes, preparing, leaving our homes, going to do a lock-in studio probably in the Caribbean somewhere. We were going to do Jamaica, but we've just got a couple other options. And we really are going to have to wait for things to get back to normal. But there will be a documentary, because the band's back together. It wasn't just a one-off reunion. We are going to make an album. We will film it. It will be a film. It will be very, very much more stylistic, and a bit more like the old days. You know, Super 16 at times, behind the scenes, black and white footage, color footage. You know, just when we're pissing around, when we're having fun. You know, and jet skis, whatever. Also, when we're in the studio, maybe, and obviously, and all artists, when you bash heads a little bit to try and find those answers creatively, that's part of the process. So it will all be in there. But we're going to do another one for sure.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking to me today.
No, thank you for your time as well. Thank you. And please look after yourself out there, will you?
Hey, you too, definitely.